Previously on Vegan Athlete.
My name is Jake Mace. I'm called the Vegan Athlete. I practice the traditional Chinese martial arts. This includes Qigong, Kung Fu, and Tai Chi. Born in British Columbia, I've lived here in the deserts of Arizona for the past 25 years. You've watched me build a thriving and edible desert garden and edible landscape here on my Vegan Athlete YouTube channel. I believe gardening will change the world for the better, and although my desert garden was thriving and I was getting closer and closer to producing 100% of my own food at home, I decided to change my life and leave the USA forever. My girlfriend Nicole and I sold everything we own and put the rest in a backpack, then took off to see the world together. Nicole and I are living with a family in Cedera, a small town of about 7,000 people located in the northwest of Spain. The city of Cedera would prove to be one of the most beautiful natural landscapes Nicole and I would visit. The city is part of the Spanish community of Galicia, located in the Spanish province of A Coruña. Galicians have a rich human history dating back as far as the Middle Paleolithic period. Our time in Cedera would only be a few weeks long, and during that time, we would experience a wide range of weather patterns and challenges, as 6 of us woofers, including the owners, would stay at Campo de Medio in this tiny cottage. It was wet, humid, and cold, but we made the best of it. Alright, this is their greenhouse, and you can see how they just got a little shelf, and they put some hinges on it, some door hinges, and some glass. And they just close it up. And when we wake up in the morning time, it's like a hot box. It's just full of sweat. There's vapor all over the place. And all the plants that normally couldn't grow in this colder time of the late spring, early summer, like basil, like tomatoes, like cilantro, parsley, they're growing in the greenhouse just fine. Yesterday we transplanted a bunch of cilantro and parsley from the greenhouse into the garden. So those of you who don't have the money or the room for a huge greenhouse, you can have a cute little potting bench, cute little potting section in your yard, and build something like this that serves the purpose of the greenhouse on a small scale. Okay, 3 seeds we're gonna plant this morning are these pole beans. Second crop we're planting today is spinach. Spinach does very well in the summer here, and we're gonna plant all these little spinach seeds. Third crop is corn. One thing that's tough with this family here at Campo de Medio is that their budget for gardening is not immense. They have a tight budget for gardening. So they don't have bags and bags and pallets of soil and compost and rock dust and amendments and coconut coir and things like that. They do have the ocean, which is right behind us. So they could go and get some seaweed like this, and they could make a really good homegrown compost out of seaweed. This is sea lettuce. I was actually eating this last night, fresh out of the ocean. And we're gonna incorporate a little bit of this into the soil, just kind of work it in a little bit. And all those ocean minerals and phytonutrients in the seaweed is gonna really make this soil nutritious and alive. Gonna give these seeds a jump start as they start to grow. We're gonna kind of do a mixture of some of the compost they have left over from a previous season, and we're going to mix it 50-50 with the native clay that they have an abundance of outside, which is the brown stuff. It's Jose and Marion who run this property, and this morning Jose was telling me it's okay to plant the seeds in the 100% clay. So I'm gonna take 50% the compost, 50% the clay, make a mixture, and put the seeds in that mixture. Side note, the clay here is way different than the clay in the Sonoran Desert where I'm from. It's even leaving like a residue on my hand that's like sparkly, almost like it has hints of silver or gold in the clay. Maybe that means it's much more mineral rich because it's right by the ocean. As you guys can see, we have made the greenhouse look a lot better. We've got the plants that were looking like a little bit of misfits. We kind of gave them better homes with some fresh compost. We combined all the compost that was just sitting and not being used with the native clay. So now it's like a 50-50 mix, much fluffier, much lighter, better for growing seeds in. And I'm doing the spinach here. I got about 4 spinach seeds per cube. And I'm just laying them on the top. So you guys can see I'll do the last 4 with you. Just doing a few spinaches there. A few spinaches there. They're kind of stuck together because they're kind of old seeds. Hopefully they'll germinate. And some right here. All I'm gonna do now is just kind of do a little bit of a push and then a little bit of a flick. So push and a flick. And I've always told you guys that my rule for planting seeds is you put the seed under the ground the same diameter as the size it is. So since these seeds are little itty bitty, we're just putting them barely under the soil. All right, I'm gonna finish with the spinach seeds and flip it around and show you guys what Nicole's doing with the corn and the beans.
I have 2 different types of beans in these 2 trays, and then I also got some corn. So with the corn, I already have it all planted except for these 4. So I'm just gonna lightly push it down, just a little bit like that, and then cover some dirt over it. These are the 2 different types of beans that I'm planting. Alright, so the black beans are going in this tray, and then the pinto beans are going in this tray. So with the black beans, again, they're about the same size as the corn, so we're just going to lightly push it down and cover it up with dirt. So the pinto beans are going in this one, and just like the corn, but a little bit bigger, so we're just going to push it down and cover it with dirt. Like that.
Row it. Don't GMO it. Yeah, this is looking so much better now. Looks like a legit planting station and greenhouse. Grow, babies, grow. Hey Arizona, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete here in North Spain, a town called Cedera. And I want you guys to see how easy it is to dig a hole here in North Spain. Done.
So, tell me what this is and what's in it.
It's a curry I made up. It's got coconut milk, turmeric, garlic, onion, potato, bell peppers, a bunch of basil, Indian basil. I don't know what else. Maybe some cumin, salt, pepper, and a lot of chili pepper.
Nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh, and it's underneath there's cauliflower and broccoli too.
Oh, awesome. Think about the look.
Looks good.
One of my favorite parts of woofing was the food. Nicole and I were exposed to many different styles of cooking and preparing food from all over the world. We would hike daily and found an abundance of blackberries, stinging nettle, nasturtiums, and even wild forest strawberries like these. The food we cooked and ate was generally made with local ingredients and local flavors, such as these delicious vegan empanadas. If you subscribe and continue watching our adventures, you will see that none of the families we woofed with, except in Kauai, were growing 100% of their own food. It's always a treat to drive a car in a foreign country. Nicole handled it like a boss, perfectly driving this stick shift through the intense rains of Galicia.
Marion and Melissa haven't named this car anything.
Oh yeah.
We should name it for them.
Follow that black bar.
The other day, like, downshifted on the curve going uphill. I was like, what are you
She's a
doing?
fucking crazy driver.
Oh my god, I almost vomited when we came to the train station.
You are
What's your next play, Callow? Do you have any greens?
Come on, greens, go.
Back on the farm in the middle, the rain poured, seemingly with no end in sight. We did basic farm jobs like weeding, cleaning, planting, dividing, and even tried to build Marion and Jose a new compost pile, which would give them black soil to mix into their garden. I've never been to a place on the planet that rains more than Sedeira. The water was everywhere, in the heavens, on the earth, and everywhere in between. Alright guys, a little iPhone update. It's been about 5 days now, and for those entire 5 days it has rained almost 24/7. So with the absence of hot days, rain most of the day, we still have germination happening on our seeds. So let's do a little update. Check out the corn first of all. The corn's all up. The beans are up. Over here in the corner we have more of the corn that was planted in pretty much 100% clay. This Galician clay here in Sedeira. And even right here we have 2 of the little spinach guys that are up right here. Germination, life. We did it. Jake Mace out. If heaven exists, I hope I get to spend even a small part of my eternity in a natural landscape like Sedeira. I want to thank the woofing program for showing me parts of Spain I may never have visited otherwise. On this day, we saw the ruins of the old defense outlook and fort called Castillo de la Concepción. We made woofer friends, Sam and Melissa, and as usual, the drone, as well as nature, brought us together. For me, if there was a word to describe Galicia, it would be enchanted. I could live here. A gardener living amongst the forests of eucalyptus and clear, peaceful ocean waters. I probably wouldn't be vegan, but instead live off the land, combining fruit trees, gardening, herbs, and the seaweed, fish, clams, and mussels of the ocean as my food source. What just happened? The woofing work for Marian and Jose lasted about 5 to 6 hours each weekday. In the mornings before work and during our days off, Nicole and I would get out to make memories in as many of the pristine natural locations as we could.
We made it to the secret beach.
Yes, the water was cold, really cold. I harnessed my inner polar bear and went for a swim. There's nothing better for your nervous system and emotional well-being than a good, cold ocean swim. I heard someone say that Spain consumes more fish and seafood annually than any other country except Japan, and that if you want to have the best seafood in all of Spain, you go to Galicia. Nicole and I definitely felt this vibe as the ocean was wild, and you got the sense that this was a fisherman's town. I grew up in the fisherman's town of Steveston, British Columbia, and it was amazing how much Sedaira reminded me of Vancouver back home.
I don't know where we are traveling. I don't know where we are traveling.
On our final day, Nicole and I explored the Castillo de la Concepcion and the Playa de las Sonrisas.
I don't know where this road will lead us.
We felt like we can see the end of the earth, and it turns out for centuries, much of the world thought this was just that. Galicia was known in olden times as the end of the world.
Jump in the car and let's forget it all.
We went through one more negative ion-filled Tai Chi and yoga session, and loaded up again as our host Marian was gracious enough to drive us to the airport for our journey entirely across Spain to the east coast. Warmer weather, warmer ocean waters, and an entirely different region called Catalonia. These are called orios. They are granaries holding food for cows, pigs, and chickens and are typically seen in the northwest Iberian Peninsula. Built in wood or stone, raised from the ground by pillars, ending with flat support stones called staddle stones to prevent access by rodents and water damage. Ventilation is allowed by the slits in the walls, and these orios were found everywhere around Sedaira, and for me, became the symbol of humanity in Galicia. The rain poured again as we made our way to A Coruña. We found a cute little health food store with vegan essentials and loaded up on a plane for the trip to Barcelona. Since I was a teenager, I've always been an early riser. So to me, the best way to see a new city is to get up early,
run. When traveling, I embrace my wake-up-early nature and combine it with my love of fitness to see parts of the people, nature, and city that would not be available to me in a car or train. This was Nicole and my first time in Barcelona. We were excited to spend 10 days here before our trip into southern France. If Madrid was the New York City or Manhattan of Spain, then Barcelona was LA. The weather was warmer and drier than Sedaira, which we needed as our bodies and clothes were soaked cold and moldy. We put on our day packs and headed out. I think we are going to like Barcelona. I mean, look, there's Cirque du Soleil happening right in the middle of the street. So much to see here, including the Gothic Quarter, and the beautiful, imposing Barcelona Cathedral. One of my favorite parts of Barcelona were the alleyways. Each had a unique character. The tourists were plentiful, and many that come to Barcelona are young and ready to party, like these guys.
Do it. Ready? Get it. You guys are on YouTube. Go for it.
On YouTube?
Yes, wait.
Hello.
There we go.
How are you?
Get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Ready. Okay. 1 subscribers?
Yeah. Like a million?
Like,
Yeah.
and suscribirse.
Seriously?
Like, video like and suscribirse. Dale a la campanita,
Subscribe.
Campanita.
Adios.
Adiós.
Barcelona is the capital and largest city of Catalonia. Catalonia is an autonomous region of Spain. They have their own language, history, and culture, but are still under the Spanish crown. With a population of about 1.6 million people within the city limits, and about 5 million if you include the entire province of Barcelona. It's the 6th most populous urban area in the European Union, just behind Paris, London, Madrid, and Milan. Currently ranked as Europe's 4th best city for business, it's the fastest improving European city, with growth improved by 17% each year. We would see many sites during our stay, such as the Arenas de Barcelona and the Museo Nacional of Art de Catalunya. Today, we decided to hit the Barcelona Beach in the Barceloneta district. The Hotel Vela, or Sail Hotel, was quite the landmark in the area. This hotel is meant to look like a sail and built upon reclaimed land from the sea surface during the construction of the new entrance to the Barcelona harbor. I've never in my life seen a more crowded beach. The sand was smooth pebbles and the water was warm. Nicole and I found some vegan food and a suntan. All right, Barcelona Beach. What'd you get?
I got a mojito.
Ooh. Is that vegan?
Totally.
I mean, the beach is not trashed. There's a ton of people, but they must clean it up each day. I love your outfit here. You look great. Look out for the word vegana when you're in Spain or any Spanish-speaking place. Vegana. A lot of places that are not vegan still have a vegana option on the menu. We just found a little cafe here on the beach that had some vegana options. So we got a cold gazpacho soup that was totally vegan. This cafe here on the beach had a bunch of hamburger options, and as usual, the last one was a vegana option. So I was pretty jazzed. It's a pretty basic burger. It's a vegan patty with some avocado, tomato, arugula, and then they gave us a bunch of peppers, onions, croutons to go with it. So we got 2 of these burgers. And last but not least, they had nachos, but you gotta watch out for nachos. They always want to throw a bunch of cheese and sour cream on them. So we made sure it was sin leche, without milk. And we got some nachos with guacamole, jalapenos, cilantro, tomatoes, onions. Yeah, so now we can hang here for a couple hours and be pretty set, not famished, and have a fun time at the Barcelona Beach. So let's get chomping down.
Replace the screams from the lost of love. I'll use you till I've had enough. You go down my throat and on my insides. You say softly to me, follow me, follow me.
The street performers in Barcelona as well as Madrid were world class. We also found an incredible vegan restaurant, Flax and Kale. First floor. This restaurant was not totally vegan, but had incredible vegan options, and a sister restaurant we'll show you in the days coming up called Teresa Carl's. Healthy fresh juices, delicious vegan desserts, and everything in between. This restaurant was my favorite dining experience during our Barcelona trip. It's always been simple to be vegan at home, making your own food, but in today's world, restaurants really are upping their game. It's the easiest it's ever been to be a vegan vegetarian. If this food doesn't get your engine going, I don't know what will.
Shut me out and lock the door. You don't need me. Pick up all these broken pieces I've left behind. I left you behind. Pick up all these broken pieces I've left behind.
There's a pain you carry with you through the days you
These vegan desserts were a welcome change after our woofing experience in Zadera. We took a bunch to go and definitely consider today a cheat day.
You've let me down entirely. I'm better off.
By far, one of my favorite parts of Barcelona was the Mercat de San Josef de la Boqueria, oftentimes just called La Boqueria. This market has nearly 1,000 years of history. The first mention of the Boqueria market in Barcelona comes from 1217, when tables were installed near the old city gate to sell meat. Traveling to and from La Boqueria each day was a pleasure on the ever-entertaining La Rambla Street. Nicole and I found La Boqueria to be incredibly vegan-friendly, and we visited a few times to stock up on vegan pastries, Mediterranean food, fruits, and veg.
It's cold where you once laid. Your scented burns a hole in me. I see your face. My home that's now his. Because my love's not big enough. Love's not big enough. My love's not big enough.
Our trip is scheduled to go on about a year. Barcelona so far is one of our favorite places. We are learning a lot about ourselves and about our relationship, our love. I really enjoy putting together videos like this because they serve as a fun journal I can look back on anytime. If you enjoy coming along on the ride with us, please hit the like button, subscribe, click the bell button, and remember, I read all the comments below. Our trip is just beginning, and some of the most adventurous and dangerous times of my life are coming up.